When you need advice, come to Ben and Kelly. It's group therapy on 99.7 DJX.
Sasha writes, hey there, Ben and Kelly. My fiance and I are getting married next year. Plan on inviting only close friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
My fiance's parents and my father are very generously splitting the cost of the wedding, and I asked them if they wanted to add a few people to our guest list as a token of my gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with everybody they added, about 10 people, except for my fiance's aunt. I've only met her twice, but according to my future in-laws, she's a compulsive thief. His family hides their purses and valuables when she's invited to events. She was recently fired for stealing from her coworker. Based on her past behavior, I think it's likely she's going to steal from guests during the reception or even from the gift table. Is there a way I can gently push back on the request to include this person? She's my fiance's father's sister, and he says it's up to us. My fiance's mom says we have to invite her. I love both of my future in-laws dearly, but I don't want anything to go missing on our wedding day, and I feel kind of stuck, caught in the middle.
Oof.
Yeah, that's tough.
Well, you could always put the wedding gifts instead of have a table, or you could have someone watching the wedding table, the gift table or things like that. You could have like I don't want to say like a kid, because a kid, whatever. But yeah, I mean, you could take measures is what I'm trying to say, and not so.
And not obvious. Maybe somebody
way.
that's seated near the table could kind of keep an eye inconspicuously.
Yeah, but what are they going to do? Like, so you're putting it on your cousin to say, hey, if you see Aunt Becky take a bag from the table, I want you to
tackle her before she
right,
leaves.
Right, exactly. like what are they going to do? So I don't know. I don't know. Unless you have, or you find some sort of lockable closet at the reception or something like that where.
Well, that's weird, though. Nobody locks up their gifts at the reception.
Well, Aunt Becky.
Well, okay, so here's what I'm thinking, though. Like, just kind of put everybody on alert. Like, if you see Aunt Becky walking out with anything from the gift table or anything like that, just know that she has not been asked to help load the car. Because that could be like the excuse, oh, they told me to help, put all this stuff in the car so we can take it back. No, Aunt Becky's not in charge of that. So just tell everybody, no, Aunt Becky,
okay.
I got it.
All right. Hang on a second. I hate to pile upon Aunt Becky.
I love the fact that we've named her Aunt Becky. Apologies to all the Beckys out there. We're not calling you thieves.
I hate to pile upon Aunt Becky, but couldn't this all be avoided by just not inviting her?
Well, yes.
Why don't we just not invite her?
That's what she wants to do. And, Dad's okay with it because it's his sister. But, her fiance's mom is like, no, we have to invite her. So they're not on the same page with that.
Well, then
that's why she feels caught in the middle.
Then tell your future husband, this is what I think we should do. We should not invite Aunt Becky because #drama. And then have him go to the in-law, go to his parents and say, yeah, you know what? Not a good idea to have Aunt Becky on the list.
Yeah, we just don't want that kind of stress. She's got a track
Either
record.
that or you give a special invitation to Aunt Becky and she goes to the ceremony.
If you steal, we're kicking you out.
No.
No?
She goes to the ceremony, but it has a different address for the reception. And
what is the matter with you?
She goes to
we cannot do that. That is not good advice.
It's like, wow, their reception's at a Denny's? Okay, well,
now,
I guess I'll sit here and order a Moons Over my hammy and just wait for everyone else to get here.
Delicious. Sandy says, don't invite Aunt Becky. The consequences of Aunt Becky's behavior has uninvited herself.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm like, well, I mean, we could jump through the hoops of trying to padlock and secure the guests' purses and valuables and then your presents, or we could just not invite Aunt Becky.
Well, here's the thing, though. It is the fiance's dad, the father of the groom's sister.
Yeah, and he doesn't care.
He doesn't, but okay.
Yeah, he's
I think that might be.
It's up to you. I mean,
but she's gonna say why. Why am I not invited?
Well, then
to my nephew's wedding.
Let Dad talk to his sister and say, you know why. I think that's the line that it goes to. Anyways, all right. If I don't know if you've been in a situation like this, or just you have a quote Aunt Becky that you had to deal with at your wedding, then let us know. 502-795-1997.
Kelly from Crescent Hill says, "Can Uncle Jesse still come though?"
Oh, is that like a Full House
it's
reference?
A Full House reference,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
That's a famous Aunt Becky.
502-795-1997. Your calls and suggestions coming up next. So, to invite Aunt Becky, who likes to steal from people, or not, to the wedding. That's what we're going
may not be
through.
named Aunt Becky.
Yeah,
We just
right.
kind of named her Becky.
Yeah,
Sorry.
whatever.
Now, here's the thing. We've got a lot of people kind of torn a little bit on how to handle this. Some are kind of like, don't invite her. Some are like, have that very difficult conversation. This is the groom's dad's sister. Now, the groom's dad is like, don't invite her. But then groom's mom is like, you have to invite her. It's your aunt. So then what do? Jessica says, I personally don't think there's anything wrong with someone, not Sasha, telling the aunt why she isn't invited. If she's a grown adult out there stealing from people, she's grown enough to be called out for it. It's a valid point. Valid point. And this is up on Facebook, too, at Ben and Kelly Show. You can chime in there as well. A lot of people, as we're mining through the comments, are kind of on board with the same thing. Like, tell her why she's not invited.
Elizabeth.
So my husband and I got married 3 years ago, and he's got some cousins who are just, I mean this in the nicest way possible. They're just not very well behaved.
Yeah.
So we made the decision and sat down because it's on his father's side of his mom's side of the family, and we sat down and talked to his parents about it, and they were very understanding. And because of that, we decided no kids because of two kids' behavior, and they were fine with it. And everyone that was at the wedding knew why there were no kids. It was because of these two cousins in particular,
wow.
and everyone was fine with it. So I think if they just sit down and talk to mom and dad, that they'll be very understanding about it.
Okay. All right. I like that. And it's okay. The rule, no ants. We're not going to invite any ants to our wedding.
No ants that steal. No.
Yeah. If you're an
That's
ant within the
harsh.
sound of my voice that steals, you are not invited to our wedding. So,
We're looking at you, Becky.
Right.
all right. I like that, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Allie.
I want to know who's in charge of the invites. Like, can we accidentally, lose the invite?
Oh, yes. And when she says, oh, my gosh, and then you'll be like, oh, well, you didn't RSVP, and maybe, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
send
you know-
her invite to, the wrong address. We sent it.
Or you send it after the wedding.
Oh, my
Yeah,
gosh.
I don't
we
know.
sent it. What happened?
Allie, thank you. Hi, Jessica. So what's your thought?
Okay, so obviously she should not invite the aunt, and that should be the father-in-law's decision to discuss
Yes,
it with her.
that's what I think.
I didn't want to invite one of my college friends' husbands because he's a total nightmare, but we did anyway. He stole some of our gifts. He also created a scene outside of our wedding where an Uber came and he decided it wasn't large enough for the party that was leaving, so he
Oh, my
called the
gosh.
police.
Oh, my gosh.
I was having to lead people out of the venue to avoid that, on my wedding day. It was a nightmare. Definitely not
gosh.
recommended.
Yeah, so
And
Jessica,
then-
you're like, avoid the drama, just don't invite her.
Yes, absolutely. It is.
And then you were
not
all like
worth it.
there that night going, see, I told you we shouldn't have invited him.
Not at all. We were just like, well, we know who he is now.
Wow. Jessica, hey, thank you so much for the phone call.
Yeah, no problem.
So, are we saying don't invite her?
Yeah, Leslie says, don't invite Aunt Becky. I had a sister I wasn't going to invite to my wedding due to family issues. Long story short, I decided at the last minute to invite her. She ended up getting so drunk, stealing from a lot of people. When they tried to take her home, she jumped out of the car going 55 miles an hour.
Oh, my gosh.
Ambulances were called. It ruined the wedding.
So here's the thing. All right, so we're all agreed. Let's not invite Aunt Becky. If
Yes.
Aunt Becky does somehow manage to make it to the wedding by no fault of your own, Kem has a great idea. Have the fiance's mom, who wants her there in the first place, stick to Aunt Becky like glue.
I like that.
So
I like that.
So first option, just leave her off the invite list. Don't invite her.
Well, yes, and if she asks, when the invitation is coming, then we have the groom's dad, who is her brother.
Yes,
tell her what's up.
Yes, he's got a flex. He's sibling. I'm sure he said plenty of things to his sister and over the decades that they've been
He's got to have that. I love you, but you have an issue.
Yep,
and
for sure.
That's why.
Yeah. But if she does manage to make her way there, I love the advice of, hey, okay, so
groom's mom.
Sorry,
is on
groom's
duty.
mom. It's your duty. So
Your babysitter.
okie doke.
Okay, I think we fixed that one. Good stuff. Good group session, guys.
Look at us.
Good
Pat
session.
ourselves on the back with that one.
And congratulations to Sasha. Enjoy your wedding now.
Yes, I love sausage.
Stress-free.
All right. That is group therapy.